What's up guys, MainManSWE here, talking to you guys on YouTube and the 343 listeners I have here on Twitch Radio. It's a beautiful day. I can't even think of something funny to say. Oh, it's a normal day in my life. I just sit like this. Everyone makes fun of me. I have no funny comebacks or anything. Okay, cringiest intro so far. I just won. Thanks, guys. So, today I'm gonna do an introduction to Heihachi, which is one of my absolute favorite characters in the Tekken series ever since he was the boss in Tekken 1. I've always loved Heihachi, extremely charismatic. His voice actors, rest in peace to both of them. Very tragically, the man who voiced him in Tag 2, Tekken 7, passed away about 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Very sorry to hear that. Obviously, the character was kind of dead. If you've played story mode Tekken 7, I think he wasn't gonna return either way. He's so fun to play. In Season 2, he's much more interesting than he was in Season 1. So if you're listening to me now and you're looking into a character to pick up, I can very much recommend Heihachi. He does have flaws, but this is what makes him interesting in my opinion. I don't like to play characters that are super all-round and perfect. I think with contrast, you know, great things and bad things with a character, it makes them just interesting, that you have an obstacle to overcome, and that's something you do have with Heihachi. So, Heihachi is a very pressure-based character. He's the most offensive and oppressive of the Mishimas. He relies on very strong mids and strings that give him very good frames. All of his mids usually have great frames. Whether they hit or they're blocked, he retains his momentum. The only time Heihachi really loses his momentum is when good players know, I shouldn't duck Heihachi. I mean, I'm probably gonna get launched. His lows is where he can lose momentum. To incentivize people to duck, you will start throwing down back 2, front crash down forward 4, and these are all launch punishable. Where Kazuya has down back 4 and Devil Jin have down back 2 for a low risk, good low poke with great frame advantage if it connects, Heihachi just lacks that. His down back 2 gives him +6 frame advantage and chunky damage, but it's launch punishable. So, in essence, what Heihachi is a mid and string attack beast with some of the best mid launchers in the game. You know, this one being perfectly safe. And great moves for pressure, like forward 4, 1 back 2. But what he severely lacks is options to go low with minimum risk. As I said in my tier list, Heihachi's mids and highs are very often high reward, no risk, minimum risk. But his lows, you flip this immediately. The lows, it's minimum reward very often, like down back 2, and huge risk. I mean, what is +6, 23 damage compared to if it's blocked? You get launched. You can potentially eat 100 damage. So it just completely flipped. And this is what makes him work as a character. Because if his lows were better, if he had Devil Jin's down back 2, no one would play any other Mishima. This is the thing that makes Heihachi actually work as a character. Other flaws is like Kazuya, he has a flawed throw game. He has down for 2-3 for a 2 break, not a very good throw. He has this as a 1 break, but the animation is very easy to see. It's just not a good throw. His 12 frame punish, you know, where Kazuya and Devil Jin go back 1-2, Heihachi has 1+2, which has no range whatsoever, or forward 1+2, no range whatsoever. He also lacks to punish big sweeps or hell sweeps. He lacks an easy mode while standing launcher. He's the only Mishima to not have that. You'll go while standing 1 into Iron Hand basically. You can do crouch cancel into electric, but that's difficult. And it's really difficult. In practice mode, with great execution, you'll land it every time. But trust me, when you're in the middle of a match and things are hectic, and that, you know, once per match, or even that, you get that sweep that you're gonna punish, it's suddenly gonna be hard to crouch cancel electric. So, in theory, still quite difficult, but actually doing it in a match, practically, it's much harder. So, yeah, that's a big thing. And now that Kazuya got down for 1-2 in Season 2, he remains the only Mishima that doesn't have an easy mode 15 frame launch punish. He relies on electric for this. So as you can see, a lot of people like to say that Season 2 Heihachi is broken, but all of these weaknesses I just told you about, these are not minor things. I mean, these are pretty big flaws in his gameplay. So, that was in essence what Heihachi is. Now I'm just gonna go into how you should play Heihachi. Like the other Mishimas, he has a wave dash. Learn to do that. Check out my wave dash guide. Check out my electric guide. If I can do electric, that is. Well, almost. Heihachi relies quite a lot on electric. Kazuya relies the most on electric. Then it's Heihachi, and then it's finally Devil Jin. Devil Jin can be played without electrics. Although a competent Mishima player will always know how to do electrics, of course. I'm just saying some of the Mishimas rely more on that move than others. So, learn to whiff punish with electric, that's good. And as I said with his weaknesses, even for block punish, you're going to have to get a decent electric, because if someone's minus 15, you're gonna want to launch them, you know. So get a decent electric when you play Heihachi. And now, what moves should we be using? First off, when playing Heihachi, don't go in with lows. The first thing we do is test our opponent as Heihachi. Does he ever duck? If he knows the Heihachi matchup, he's not gonna duck. So we'll test him. We'll go in, we'll do some jabs, 1 back 2. Oh, why do we do 1 back 2? Because it's one of the best strings in the entire game. It's perfectly safe. It's a 10 frame jab that's high into a mid that cannot be ducked. The mid, the second hit, can be delayed for a long time. It tracks, excellent tracking. On hit, the second hit is +8. For those of you who don't know frames, that's almost as good as it gets. It's enormous frame advantage. You can see the stun there. Oh, right in the ovaries. And on block, if they block it, it's -2. This is almost perfectly neutral. So after this is blocked, you can easily move around, or you can easily just do another one. A jab. You know, you're -2. This string is so good, it hurts. It honestly hurts in my heart how good it is. But I'm a Heihachi player, so it hurts for the good reason. I feel bad for the opponent when I do it over and over. So, yes. Hopefully you understand now that you're gonna be spamming this attack. Spam. Then we have forward 4, which on hit is +6 or 7. On block, it's +5. And they will stay right next to you. Excellent pressure tool. Excellent pressure tool. Oh, what if they duck? Guaranteed downward 1-2. Oh, I guess that hurts next to a wall. Forward 4. If you see me play Heihachi, I use that move all the time. It's quite easy to step if they know how to step Mishimas to the left. So be a bit careful. But honestly, fire away, soldiers. Fire away. Upward 3-4. Buffed for Season 2. It's +3 on block. So if a jab afterwards is uninterruptible, downward 1, which is a mid, will trade. And it launches on normal hit. So upward 3-4, it's got improved tracking now, but it can still be stepped a bit. But just an excellent pressure tool. Fire away, please. Downward 1, 13 frames, super fast, decent range. It sounds like I'm singing. It sounds like a Disney movie. And you can do down forward 1-1, which is mid-high, so they can duck the second hit. But then you have one of the best strings in the game, down forward 1-2. This is a natural combo, wall splat, knockdown. On its own, 34 damage, which is a lot for a 13-frame string. You can delay the second hit. And there's a myth going around. This is hit confirmable! It's not. You can't look and see, oh, does this hit? And then add the 2. They'll be able to block it. You can't hit confirm this. So you're taking a risk because the second hit is minus 13 on block. So if Kazi has his back towards the wall, there's no pushback and he's gonna twin piston you. So you're gonna get punished if it's blocked. But basically, you know, if it connects, oh, wall splat. So what does it look like when people have their back towards the wall? You stand like this. La 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 la, you know, because everyone's so afraid of a second hit. So you're like, ah ha ha ha, woo, 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 woo. When he's gonna end it, when he's gonna end it. Ah! That's what it looks like when they have their back towards the wall. You know, Heihachi's pressure, just with the few moves I've given you now, you have excellent pressure. You know. Then you have forward 3, huge range. Look at this. Huge range mid knee. That's perfectly safe on block. Tracks quite a bit to both sides. And on counter hit. Oh gee golly, I got a launch. It's not hard to do a hell sweep, main man, okay? You're making a guide. Can you... usually you have pretty decent execution. Okay, I can do a hell sweep, thank God. So, forward 3, also excellent pressure and good on block. You don't really lose your momentum by doing that move. Okay. That's some pretty decent stuff, right? Yeah, and then we have forward 4-2, which is a long, humongous range mid-launcher that gives, yeah, huge combo damage. I mean, that's 96 damage. Easy. That move is minus 15 to minus 16, depending on the range. So very fast, long-range moves are gonna punish it. Like Kazuya's forward 4-2, Brian's forward 4-2, King's back 3, that sort of thing. But a lot of characters won't be able to reliably punish this. So take advantage of that. But when you do find yourself in matchups like, oh, I'm fighting Steve, his Sonic Fang's gonna punish this every time. And if he's in Rage, and he blocks this, oh, he's gonna do his Rage Drive Sonic Fang. So you gotta keep your mind open to those possibilities. What character am I facing? I'm facing Heihachi. It's a Heihachi mirror. He won't punish this. I mean, maybe with a perfect Iron Hand, but no, I don't think so. Yeah, this is a really good move. Forward 4-3 is a perfectly safe mid-launcher. I think it's minus 2 on block. So that's, you know, in the matchups where, oh, my forward 4-2 is getting punished, you can do forward 4-3. Really good move. Forward 2-3 is kind of interesting. Perfectly safe string. You can delay the second knee a lot. No, oh shit, wrong move. You see how long the delay is? And like the normal forward 3, I get a delonchi. Good shit. So, there are, of course, more amazing moves, but now I've covered the amazing highs and mids, in my opinion. So, if someone steps, back 4. Safe mid homing. If someone steps. Or realign with a step of your own. Or back 1-2, also safe, but that's high, keep that in mind. Electric has better homing. Oh, they like to step? Electric could do the trick. So, now we're gonna get to the low problem. And then we're gonna get to the punish problem, but we're gonna start with the low problem. Okay, I've just conditioned the opponent with this, and he's never ducking. He's never ducking. Okay. We're gonna have to engage the lows. With an opponent that never ducks, you can't do throws. But with Heihachi, not the strongest throw game. Let's say my opponent, he's breaking my throws, he's never ducking. I'm gonna have to incentivize him to duck. Hell Sweep is usually bad. It's been nerfed over and over with every iteration, the latest few games. I just refrained from Hell Sweep with Heihachi. This option, Hell Sweep, one Hell Sweep into neutral 4, is actually pretty decent. It's safe. The second hit is safe. The first sweep is a Hell Sweep, launch punishable on block. But the second hit, plus 7 or 8 on hit, safe on block. It's a decent option, but I would just refrain from using Hell Sweep altogether, to be honest. The lows we're gonna focus on is down back 2, great range, low, and the buff for Season 2. But we'll start with down back 2. Long range, chunky, plus 6 on hit, but and it crushes. You can see duck is quite a lot. Is that a word? He ducks highs. But what's the drawback? It's minus 17 on block. So that means that every single character in the game is going to be able to launch you. So again, what did I say at the start? With the lows, humongous risk, you're going to get launched, and the reward is not very high. But that was Season 1 Heihachi. What happened in Season 2 that makes all of the Heihachi players just pull out their man meat and just, yeah, say, I'm not going to work today, I'm staying at home with Heihachi in practice mode? It's the buff to front crouch, down forward 4. Well, basically that alone, but the same buff to prolong crouch dash free. So, what does this do? We now have a low where it's humongous risk, but the reward is not minimal. The reward goes up, and it's almost like a snake edge where you say, humongous reward, humongous risk. We are even and they take each other out on a Hell Sweep, because if I hit my Hell Sweep, I launch you. If you block it, you get to launch me. With Heihachi's sweep here, it's not quite that. Heihachi gets launched if it's blocked. If it hits, he gets a big reward. Not a small reward like down back 2. He gets a big reward, but you're not launching anyone. But you're putting them in a very uncomfortable position, and they eat a lot of guaranteed damage. But the difference, of course, compared to a Snake Edge, is that my front crouch down forward 4 here is unseeable. So now you actually have a good front crouch mix-up here while standing 1, which we can very quickly, of course, do out of front crouch. It's 14 frames, a 14 frame long range mid. We can now mix that with an unseeable front crouch sweep. So what does this sweep do? It gives a guaranteed, while standing 2, it gives a guaranteed forward for 2, like so. This is what's guaranteed when you flip them like this. If you delay it and they try to stand up, you get a launch if you delay it. This is incredibly powerful. What people who know Heihachi are gonna do in this situation is we're just gonna take the oh god, we're not gonna try and stand up. What the fuck? Okay, we're going to take that and we're going to fly away like so. And now you actually have another decent mix-up, because you can just as easily just keep going. You know, and you might catch them again. But when they are at that specific distance, that far away, good players know that they can hit square and down to roll to the side to get out of this. But you'll see a lot of people not know that, and they're gonna just get fucking blasted by this shit. That's not uncommon to see, you know, that they take the first one up the ass and the second one right between the shoulder blades and they're launched. So I just want to stress how bad of a position they are put in by front crouch sweep. Of course, with front crouch sweep, if it's blocked, you get launched. But now you know that you have a very powerful low to scare people with and to incentivize them to actually duck Heihachi. And this is what makes Heihachi so much more powerful in Season 2. So, yeah, that's what you're gonna scare people with. Prolonged CD3 can be fuzzy guarded because it's a mix-up with regular CD3. It's just that the low option is much lower. So good players, they hold their guard, and then they see, oh, it should have come out by now, and then they go down, and they'll block this, and it's launch punishable. It's just the same... well, okay, it's not the same situation as they are faced towards you on the prolonged CD3 or delayed CD3. It's got great range, but it's just so risky. I would just tell you to just stay with this one, you know. Waivu, front crouch, go with that. And next to a wall, of course, this is a scary mix-up. Really scary stuff can be done here. So that's the lows, and I've explained now why Season 2 Heihachi is scarier and more effective in his mind games than Season 1 Heihachi. But your punish problem kind of remains. While standing, you have while standing 4, and then for 14 frames, while standing 4 is 11 frames. And 14 frames, you have this, which a lot of people use as his punish on launch punishable sweeps. You can crouch cancel electric, but that's difficult. Even JDCR, you'll see him use this quite often. You can now omen for more damage, but yeah, there's a problem here. There's no easy mode launch punish, unfortunately. And with the 12 frame, you know, if someone does a get up 4 kick from the ground, this is not gonna reach. This is not gonna reach. So yeah, he lacks a couple of punishment tools. His long range punish is Iron Hand, you know, when they are really far away. But that's hard to do. That's a quarter circle forward. So yeah, glaring holes in his punishment game compared to Devil Jin and Kazuya. But it's interesting to note that the forward 1+2 12 frame punish is the strongest 12 frame punish in the game. It guarantees Iron Hand for 39 damage. So it's got shit range, but if you actually incorporate it into your gameplay where it actually hits, you have something that hits really hard. And you can omen here as well, as you can see. Like Kazuya, he doesn't have much of a throw game, as I said. If he had a great throw game, the character would be much stronger. It would be like Dragunov, who, like Heihachi, he's, I think Dragunov and Heihachi are the most oppressive characters that don't go into stances. You know, I think those two take the cake when it comes to just super strong mids and highs with great frames to just be super pitbull aggressive. I think those two take the cake. But where Dragunov has throws, great command throws, to incentivize people, you know, to get stressed or start ducking, Heihachi doesn't have that. He has to go in with these lows. And it's interesting to note that JDCR mained Heihachi and Dragunov. It's not a coincidence. Those two characters they're more similar than you'd think at first glance. Yeah, unfortunately, you have a one break. That's a one break throw, but oh, Jesus, I'm really trying. Sometimes I can't do quarter circle forward. Okay. He doesn't grab like a standard throw. He goes with his left arm alone, downwards and up. And this is super easy to recognize. People know to break that with one immediately. So in reality, to me, what he has is a 1+2 throw and a 2 throw. It's just... yeah. It's not a very good throw game. If he had a throw game more like Dragunov and Devil Jin, wow, he would be so strong right now in Season 2. And it wouldn't be a Heihachi guide without mentioning his amazing parries, which I love to use those myself. It's one of the most amusing parts of a character, in my opinion. We're gonna do a forward dash, hold back, mash 1. So, how do we do this punch parry? Forward 3+4 is Raging stance. This stance, if you input it or do it while someone's doing a punch, not an elbow, not a kick, a punch, it's a punch parry. If you time it correctly, the window is rather tight, he will knock them out of balance, you know, like, oh! And you can input 1 to get a high, perfectly safe on block move that launches. And if you're next to a wall, you will be doing 2-1, which can be hit confirmed. You can do, the 2 option is only -12. The whole thing is launch punishable from while standing, so you don't want it blocked. So I usually do, and you'll see if a parry hits actually. And during that time, I'll input the 2 alone, see if a parry hits, and then I'll add the 1 to make it slightly safer. But so this is the launch with Raging Stance 1, punch parry. You can do that for 62 damage. There's a lot of different combos you can do here. Oh. But as I said, a lot of people, if you fail the parry, you can get hit out of it, you can get launched out of it, he can't block while he's standing like that. But the animation is rather fast, and you'll very quickly cancel into this move, either way. Which is homing as well, that's worth mentioning. And on guard, it's perfectly safe. So this is a very strong parry. I'm a big fan of this parry as well. It has a huge, it's back 2+3. It's got a huge active window, huge, and it deals 30 damage to the opponent and 30 damage to you, and it will catch anything except for lows. And I mean anything. A running tackle, Yoshimitsu's sword, it's like Geese parry. It will catch anything that's not a low, mid and high. But it is used to close out rounds. If you have a big health advantage, you'll survive taking 30 damage, but your opponent is going to die taking 30 damage. Then you can be really sneaky, you know, and go forward 4, down forward 1. He loves to push buttons after I do down forward 1, and then you'll do, oh shit, you'll do down forward 1, and then you'll input that and hope he does something, and if he does, he's fucked, unless it's a low, of course. I've basically covered the entire character now, I think. We could mention that back to 1+2 Rage Drive is mostly used for combos, like so. It gives Heihachi a huge comeback factor. If you can actually land the combo. Oops. You know, it's a good day when I can't do my fucking staples. Okay, you know what? Please, just go to the other side. So that's 113 damage. Just want to show, like, with that rage drive, the comeback factor. Oh, it's not difficult. You know, 120 damage. How many characters can do that without a wall? I mean, I think this is rather unique. I don't know any other character with rage and without a wall that goes up to 120 damage and Okiseme. Oh, fucked up. But yeah, it really hurts. And worth mentioning is that he just got the new rage drive out of a jab, which is great. This is a great mix-up tool. You'll do 1 back 2, 1 back 2, and then you'll add it and hope you'll catch him. So this is a great addition. And oh god, on counter hit, the whole thing is guaranteed. And it hurts a lot. It just hurts a lot. So if you can set up jab counter hits, like maybe down for the 1-1 and then hope you catch counter hit, whatever, it's just very strong. It's very strong. So, okay, this turned into a 30-minute video, but still not bad for a basic introduction to who Heihachi is as a character. What does he do well? What does he do badly? How do you play him? How do you go into a match? Yeah, and what are the changes season 1 to season 2? Yeah, good stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video.